Artistry, you go live. You start.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I am Arjustri, a volunteer and working group member at Sapan, the South Asia Peace Action Network. Today, as we celebrate the fourth anniversary of Sapan, we are thrilled to be coming live to share this special moment with all of you. We also want to take a moment to say Eid and Nowruz Mubarak to everyone who is celebrating. Before we dive into our conversation, I'd like to first share a short video that captures the essence of what Sapan is all about. So, without further delay, let's take a look.
I'm trying to share it. It's not letting me. Let me try again. I'm sorry. There's some issue with it. Share. All right, here we go. Sapan is a people-driven movement committed to peace, dialogue, and regional solidarity in South Asia and beyond.
Sapan is not affiliated with any government, political party, or agenda.
At Sapan, we rise above politics, border, and division to build unity.
We are a movement that promotes cultural peace, open conversations, cross-border connections beyond nationalism and division.
Sapan is not just a movement run by some activists. It's a dream of almost all common people, a dream of peaceful South Asia with soft borders between the countries. I wish this dream could come true soon.
Sapan is about freedom, human rights, dignity, the freedom to connect with each other, not just in our countries but all over South Asia, freedom of speech, freedom for all dissenters.
We at Sapan believe in the idea of peaceful South Asia. We don't promote foreign policies of nation states or agendas of think tanks. We just provide a safe space for South Asians and the diaspora to connect.
At Sapan, we challenge divisive norms and embrace a shared vision for a peaceful and connected South Asia.
Sapan is a vision of peace and harmony for South Asia. It's not a fantasy, it's a commitment.
Ramu and I both loved bridges, we loved the ocean. And it was our shared dream that Sapan would one day serve as that wonderful bridge that would unite us across nations, boundaries, borders, cultures, generations.
We as Sapaners have a very strong bonding together, a bonding that surpasses boundaries, cultures, and identities. And to me, that is what Sapan is, our strong bonding of togetherness as South Asians across the world, wherever we may be.
Sapan is celebrating our differences in a way that reinforces a shared identity. Sapan is laughing about which biryani is better or playing Ras on each other's streets.
Sapan is about people, not politics. Sapan is about collaboration, not conflict.
This network is working to build a better future, not just for our present, but for the generations to come.
At Sapan, we are rewriting the South Asia's narrative, one of peace, collaboration, and respect.
Sapan is a dream of peace and love that transcends nation states and South Asia, of hope, an indefatigable spirit of kinship that knows no borders.
We are a peace, dialogue, and justice movement because South Asia
deserves better.
Thank you for watching the video and for being with us today. It's incredible to see how far we have come together. Now, to kick off our discussion, I'm excited to pass the floor to two of our Sapan's founding members, Sarita Bartala from Nepal, based in USA, and Kawar Mumtaz in Lahore. Over to you, Sarita and Kawar.
Thank you, Rajeshri. Isn't it amazing that we've come so far in 4 years? Something that started as an idea has now become a movement. It spans the whole region, all the countries, but even much more important is the fact that there are people outside the region who are also part of this movement and this platform. As we kick off our journey from that idea to where we are now and where we want to go, I'd like to call upon Beena Sarwar, who has been the initiator of this platform. Beena, would you like to just tell us how it started, what gave you the idea, and how you managed to mobilize so many of us?
Hi, Rani. Hi, Sarita. First of all, thank you, Sarita, for initiating this meeting and for really running with it and taking it forward. And thank you both for co-hosting this sort of recap or whatever. So Samir, who's not here with us right now, I think many, like Rani, you'll remember we've been part of PIPFPD, we've been part of, Aman Ki Asha, we've been part of so many South Asia initiatives as well. And then there was this moment where things were just not working out. Again, India, Pakistan, every time the two get to start coming to any kind of understanding, something happens to derail the conversation. So then we thought, Samir was like, you've been talking about South Asia, so let's just do a South Asia initiative. So we just pulled together. I just called, everybody I knew. You were there. My mother, who's there, was there. Kavita, Lolly, Irfan, so many others were there at that time. And we just came together online in that first meeting, Raza Rumi and Kanak and so many others. And then we decided to have take a regional approach to everything. And then we shared the founding charter with everybody on the call. There was about 90 or 80, 90 of us on that first call on the 28th of March, 2021, Sunday. And then it just sort of took off from there. And then Mandira put together all it was a almost 3-4 hour long meeting. We had breakout rooms on various topics because we kind of did it like the PIPFPD meetings, and the sectoral thing. And then we put together the notes. We didn't record that. We didn't even know how to do Zoom. I remember it was I think Catherine Masood from Bangladesh. I don't know how I was talking to her. I was like, I don't know how we've got the Zoom thing. I don't know what to do. She connected me to her student Sahil Lal, who's now become a big time actor in New York and stuff in Connecticut. And Sahil walked me through it. I don't know what time of the night we were up till. And we figured out how to do the Zoom, the settings. I don't know. It was so complicated, and now it just seems like, oh, Zoom, okay, not a problem. But at that time, we didn't even know how to do a Zoom. Like, should it be a webinar? Should it be webcast? What? So that's how we started. And then Pakistan had given India the MFN status, the most favored nation status. And we were like, oh, let's celebrate that, and let's call Amartya Sen, and let's call Amin Hashwani, and let's call other people who've been calling for economic collaboration between these two countries. And then Pakistan suddenly withdrew it for whatever, pressure from behind the scenes and whatever. So then we were like, okay, let's not focus on that. Let's still talk about something beyond that. So then we were talking about having an economic meeting, and then we decided to change it into sports. Vishal, you remember that we decided to change it into sports because we were like, let's focus on. So I think that was the start of the kind of our philosophy of let's forge our own narrative rather than reacting to that of others. And then it just happened to be, by the time we got it organized, it happened to be the last Sunday of April. So from then on, it's just been like all our online meetings have been on the last Sunday of April. So I think that probably answers your question. I don't know if there's anything more I need to say. I think that's good.
I think that's really beautiful, Bina. It's just so amazing to see how we started from nothing, knowing nothing. Like when you are pointing out the sports session, I remember Vishal and I chatting about how to do Canva, and can will we be able to make like poster from any of the Amazon or Google photo? And Vishal and I'm like, this looks nice, but this is from someone else. We didn't even know how to have that privacy policy, how to do tons of stuff. It's just so amazing how we focus. We knew at some point that government not we're not gonna be able to shake on the government. We know it's gonna be a generation long journey and advocacy for us. It is just so beautiful to see how as a people we came together, and then at least we are able to build trust between people, like in this no one is judging anyone based on their nationality when it comes to Sapan is very beautiful. And now I would like to go to my dear friend Vishal, and I think Vishal's and my relationship itself kind of explains how there can be a differences, but at the same time the differences make ourselves strong. As like someone who always worked in the background since day one, Vishal, like someone who been a lawyer, was like was a go-getter too. Okay, I'm gonna go and make a logo for Sapan and try to make a logo, try to do Canva. Also, like all everything that you did in background is awesome. Can you please go ahead and explain about like what inspired you to be a part of Sapan and what you think we should do ahead to make this vision more powerful? And if there is anything you want to add, I'm pretty sure it's quite emotional for you as well. So anything you want to add, please let us know. Over to you, Vishal.
Thank you, Sarita. It's a very long question, so I may take a couple of more minutes to answer this. Uh, to be very honest, it was something I did not imagine I will be part of. And the one person I want to thank the most is Beena ji, because she was the one who introduced me to this peace activism space. Then the one to, introduce me to Sapan in a way. So to answer your question, it has three parts. So firstly, I'll focus on my introduction to peace and peace activism. I grew up in Shimla, which was the summer capital of British India, and played a huge role pre 1947, and a lot of meetings concerning the freedom movement as well as the partition happened there. So since childhood, I had this uh, thing in me that I wanted to know more about, why all this happened, and what was the reason for partition. And then this stayed with me, and I was somebody who always supported peace and dialogue. And I was like, before 1947 we had all these connections. People from all across South Asia came and they stayed together or they worked together. And then why post 1947, why are our countries not doing things the way we want to, and why are there no connections? And then the turning point was the 2016 20 between 2016 and 2018 there were border skirmishes between India and Pakistan. And I was somebody who was not happy with what was happening, and then I connected with Beena ji and the Aman Ki Asha movement. And I think that motivated me. Then I think sent a poster to Beena ji. It had written on it. The poster was like, "I don't believe in war. I believe in peace. India, Pakistan peace." And I think she posted it somewhere. And then I even wrote a piece proposing a corridor between India and Pakistan, between Murree and Shimla via Kashmir. And I think that was something which was appreciated. I shared it widely, and I think that was my introduction to peace. Coming on to South Asia peace, so I went to Ajmer from Shimla to do a master's in public policy. And there I met people from all across India and understood the idea of India and its diversity. And after I completed my master's in Ajmer, I went to Cardiff in Wales to pursue a master's in international affairs. And then I connected with people from all across South Asia and the diaspora, and met a lot of friends there. So I remember we had a Christmas gathering in Cardiff, which was hosted by a friend from Tamil Nadu, India, and a friend from Chittagong, Bangladesh. And we had people from Islamabad, my friends from Islamabad, from Jamshedpur, from all across these South Asian countries. And I took a picture and I sent that picture to Binaji. I remember, if I remember correctly, or like she had seen, I think, the status, my WhatsApp status. And I told her, this was very fascinating. I met these friends from all these places and we had a Christmas gathering. And then Binaji, she's very good at this. So she, I think, discussed with me and she made me admin of, I think, a Facebook page or a Facebook group called South Asia Union. South Asian Union or South Asia Union. I don't remember it correctly.
South Asia
And
Union.
South Asia Union. And I think that was the turning point. I was like, that was my introduction to South Asia. And I think from then on, this journey started of, I think it was early or no, it was late 2019 December when they started. And that was my introduction to South Asia. And then now fast forward coming to the formation of Sapan. So in October 2020, after completing my studies, it was COVID time. Then I went back to India because my father was not well and sadly passed away in December 2020. Uh, it was a difficult time for me. And then, Binaji was very supportive. At that time, we had conversations. And then I think in March 2021, she reached out to me that, we are organizing this meeting between peace activists to revive dialogue between the two countries. And, it would be good if you could be part of that meeting. So, I got into that meeting, then a lot was discussed in that meeting, and finally the decision to form Sapan and to revive the peace process on a South Asia level was taken. And then I began assisting Binaji with the day-to-day operations, especially as many of the members, they faced challenges with technology. So I was the technology man, though I'm not the very bad at social media, but I was given the task of, creating these social media pages for Sapan and later Sapan News. And we worked tirelessly. I think I worked a lot with Binaji initially during the first 6 months of the process. And as, we were gaining success and, as the events were being covered in the South Asian media, a lot of people joined in during that time and post that also. And Priyanka, Vakas, Ekta ji, Shuja, and you, Sarita, you all have been instrumental. And I am not that much part of Sapan working team or working group for the last 2 years. But I think the initial phase was where I contributed the most. Now coming to the last part, vision of Sapan and what it meant to me and how I thought it would turn out to be. So I think what I understood from that meeting and from the meeting's notes was that the vision was that peace was being undermined in the region, and we needed to emphasize on the common ground, and we needed to connect people from all across South Asia and the diaspora, and help in initiating dialogue. However, I think slowly we realized, as Binaji pointed out, that there can be issues and there can be greater issues, which I'm discovering now also. So divisions in the name of nationality, in the name of foreign policies, in the name of a lot of things, and then agendas. People have various agendas and they don't want the peace movement to move forward, and lots of issues are there. But I feel, as Binaji always points out, that there is you cannot change everything, so it's a step-by-step process, so you can just move forward with what you're doing with. And I think this is what I'm discovering, and hopefully by the time I die, we have a South Asian Union initiated by SARC. That is what I expect. But yeah, it's going to be a tough journey. But again, I said that Sapan and the peace movement has been very instrumental in my own journey. my current PhD, which I'm doing here in Coventry, is also related to South Asian Regional Cooperation and SARC. So I owe my professional life to Sapan, and like if I had not met Binaji, if I had not written that article on Shimla Murray linkages, I would not have been able to discover this side. And yeah, so this is all about Sapan and how Sapan started and my journey and what the aim was and what we should move towards. So yeah, took a lot of your time, sorry.
Thank you, Vishal. And also reminding us, it's so important that we are actually reflecting and looking back at how this whole movement started and the kind of contributions that people gave, like you yourself. Um, you brought in a whole range of issues, especially the SARC, if you remember, the SARC related webinar we had. So I would now like to ask Kavita. Kavita brings in the human rights aspect very strongly to Sapan. Sapan, yeah, Kavita, would you like to share? Because you are the strongest advocate
Savar,
for
can
human
I
rights.
just come after the next speaker? I need a few minutes more. I just had to
Okay.
step out. That's why I'm on my mobile. So just give me another 5, 7 minutes.
So we'll go to Namrata then.
Yeah,
Namrata,
please do.
Namrata, you've witnessed Sapan's growth from multiple directions and dimensions. And from your perspective, what do you think? How do you view Sapan and your involvement in it and the amount of energy that you bring to Sapan? And I think one of the very interesting aspects of Sapan is that we have these very talented people, but and they bring in from time to time at key points in time their expertise and take the discussion forward towards peace in the region. So, Namrata, we'd like to hear of your experience of involvement in Sapan and engagement. Is Namrata there?
Yeah, she needs to start her video in order for us to spotlight her. There she is, yeah.
Can I be heard?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. And seen.
All right. Hello, everybody. Actually, being part of Sapan is a very enriching experience for me. I've been, like I first got to know about Sapan through Bina because we were together in another South Asian network, but it's South Asian Women in Media. So both being journalists from South Asia, we were part of that network. And actually, I got to know Bina more closely when my father was very ill and he had a stroke. My father is a human rights and freedom, like a person who fought all his life against the monarchy in Nepal and was very crucial in restoring democracy in the country and making Nepal a republic country. So he was very ill, and I got to know Bina more at that time. And she, my father passed away, but that somehow we got to grow closer together. And through the South Asia Women in Media network, we came close. And what Sapan has been doing is something that has been part of my passion in my work directly and indirectly as a journalist also. And then, as you all know, most of you know Kanak from Nepal and his passion with South Asia. So I have been part of, I know that work, I've been part of that. But inside Sapan, like I got to know a lot. The other thing that really is very valuable for me is through Sapan, I got to know a lot of people in different professional sphere, from all over the world. And I got to also meet very, very old friends like Kushi, whom I met long time ago, and her sister Naila Kabir and I have worked together in different forums in Nepal and in different universities in UK. In UK, yeah. So, but apart from that, to be like just recently, Nepal also hosted um, the social forum, and actually a bunch of us from South Asia were here, and noisemakers everywhere got together to make noise again, you know. And like Vishal just recently mentioned, just before me, that being part of South Asia is a dream where he feels all South Asians can globally come together, and this region can actually function more freely, more openly, and be a home for all South Asians and friends of South Asians from all over the world. That's the dream I have. I have too, and I hope it'll get you know, like it'll be true at some point, like Vishal also mentioned. And I think forum like South Asia, Sapan has actually been able to raise that voice, and this is also a medium through which people like us can actually share our voice. Thank you, Rani, for letting me speak. And thank you, Bina, for this wonderful initiative. And I actually want to thank everybody in Sapan for being there. You know, like it's also a family where we can just tap our fingers and get to be with each other when we need it, each other, you know, otherwise also. Thank you, Rani.
Thank you, Namrata. Um, that was such a beautiful connection you built on, actually, with the friendship and the relationship that we have built in or we have strengthened. And that is one of the powerful thing I keep seeing at Sapan is people will, do get criticism sometime about, so will you be able to bring South Asia together? Will you be able to do any meeting either in Pakistan or India? We don't know. We don't know. We wanted it to. We don't know. But what we are able to do is to build the trust between the people. When I think we do have a home to go. We do have a people to as our emergency contact. We do may not need to book our hotel when we travel around South Asia. I think that is the connection that we have built. If I go to Boston, I'm pretty sure I don't have to do a hotel. I know where to go. If Namrata, you go to India, there are people that you can go, right? I think that is something. I think that is a small connection. How being a Nepali in US, I do trust Rani so much, and how I trust Namrata so much, which we didn't even know when we were back in Nepal, even working on the same field, and that connection is very powerful to me. And when we move on with this discussion, I will like to, Vishal already mentioned it, I will like to name a couple of the people without whose this meeting would be, if not complete if we don't name them. Samir Gupta, who is supposed to be, who wanted to be here today, but he's traveling. Samir has been a very good foundation to us. He's an IT guy. He was always there when it comes to supporting us financially, IT wise, concept wise. He has been a backbone. He always worked in a background, so many of us may not see him on the camera or in any of the article, but he was always someone who we always lean towards when we need help. Priyanka Singh, who is not here today, she has been a tremendous backbone to where we are now, either it be our Sapan or our Sapan News platform. And then Ekta Kapoor, he's not here today either. She was been a very good support for us throughout the time, and she's still the support whenever we need them. Before I go to Kabita, Bina, I think I would want you to be back here again to see if you can share more about our Sapan journey and how we extended from Sapan to Sapan News and the foundation for a bit. Can you please give some enlightenment on that side?
Yeah, thanks, Sarita. So so like you mentioned, Priyanka and Ekta, who I wish could be here with us today. But what because Ekta is a journalist and a wonderful editor, and she runs Ishi magazine in from India, from Delhi, and she also I had connected with her because she did an India-Pakistan women's meeting. And then I had reached out to her on LinkedIn to see if I could help in any way. And then, so when we were starting Sapan, I had asked her to join that first meeting. And I remember initially she was a little bit hesitant. She was like a little bit, she wasn't sure because she didn't know most of the people. And but then, as we got to know each other, and then when we had that meeting, and then the next meeting, and we started creating press releases, and I was sending them out to all the editors in the region that I knew. And then I thought, instead of sending out press releases, let's do proper reports. Let's just make them reports, byline reports, and just call it a Sapan syndicated feature. That's how Sapan News started. And Ekta and Priyanka were really instrumental in that, because Priyanka and I wrote some articles together. Ekta did a lot of the editing. I did a lot of the editing. Priyanka did. We got people like, some people helped out with the editing, like Rafiq Katwari, who's a poet from Kashmir. He's a poet laureate who has won awards in Ireland. I think he's traveling right now, maybe in Kashmir itself or New York. He's based mostly in New York. He helped edit some of the articles as well. So we had a lot of this kind of volunteer stuff, and how Sapan News, the syndicated features, started. And then it became independent when I got that media transformation challenge at the Pointer Institute in Florida, which a friend of mine suggested that I should do that, because I like, how do we get Sapan News from being a volunteer outfit? How do we make it into a professional news outlet, which it still isn't. We're moving there, but we're still more than half volunteer right now, even now. And so Charlie Sennett, who runs Ground Truth, I would call him a serial entrepreneur. He started several media outlets in America. He was initially a correspondent for the Boston Globe when I first met him in Lahore more than 30 years ago. And then we met again when we were both fellows at the Nieman Foundation at Harvard in 2005, 2006. And so Charlie said that, Bina, you need to go to this Pointer Institute Media Transformation Challenge Fellowship. You need to do this for Sapan News. So I looked it up, and, there was a huge fee. So they gave me half off, and then we raised half through, and Siraj Khan really helped to, created a separate bank account for that under the Pakistani Association of Greater Boston in order to help pay for that fee, because I don't have that kind of money, and Sapan didn't have any money. Siraj is also a long-time supporter, and he has been around. He was with us at Aman Ki Asha as well, and he has done a lot of writing as well, and he does a lot of good causes. So I went to this Pointer Institute, and from there I learned about the Institute for Nonprofit News, INN, and the Lion, the local independent online news. And because I'm based in Boston, I was able to, being in the States gave me access to this world which I had no idea about. So nonprofit news is like a phenomenon in the United States right now, given the kind of pressures that the media are under in general. So then, because this was in 2023, and then because when we're like, okay, so we have to separate it. We have to separate Sapan News from South Asia Peace, because if you remember, initially South Asia Peace Action Network had a tab where we were putting called Sapan News, where we were putting all the articles. So on our second anniversary, March 2023, Ekta created that new website, made that whole new website for Sapan News that we launched on our anniversary, that Lise Doucette came, because I knew her from a long time as well. So when I asked her, and she said yes. And then my aunt, Dr. Tayyaba Hassan, said, I want to give an award to somebody. I want to give some money to Lise Doucette, because she's been doing this phenomenal job of editing, or reporting from the ground in Afghanistan and whatever. So Lise Doucette came and launched Sapan News. And then Dr. Tayyaba Hassan got to interact with her, and they had a conversation online as well. And so that was a big moment, I think, for Sapan News, the last Sunday of March in 2023. And then by the end of the year, we had figured out other things that we had to do, like we had to have an editorial independence policy, we had to have a plagiarism policy, we had to have and Sarita, you have been so instrumental in getting the processes going, because you've got this mind that because those of us who are like journalists or like, in the arts, we're like, okay, we're going to do this. And Sarita's like, yes, what are the steps? What are the legal ramifications? What are the, what are the, like all the things around it that matter? And we're like, Sarita, stop nitpicking so much. Like, no, but we have to do this. No, but Bina, we have to do it. And she's right. And you're right. We have to do it like that. And so that's what's helped to make, and so Sapan News. And then we have, because until now we were doing entirely voluntary, right? We'd had just a few contributions because we created and then we found out that WordPress charges so much for contributions, a percentage. And again, because of my connections with the Pointer MTC group, Tristan Loper, who was with the Fund Journalism Initiative, he gave us a free tool. So now if somebody donates through that tool, they don't take a percentage. They gave us a free tool for that. So, and then we were able to raise money to start paying for our operational expenses, right? And then Sarita, you were there last year at Tasneem's fundraising party here, and like we've got so much support from community members from wherever we live, like even people in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka who have trouble donating directly from there. They ask friends and relatives in America or UK or Australia to donate. That's the kind of spirit we have.
I just want to add about like Tasneem's party with Bina. That was one of the I think that was a dream come true that day when we were at Tasneem's party when Tasneem said that Sapan News is my cause and I'm doing this every day, every year, and I'll do this every year because this is my cause and this is the value I want to promote. And just being like always been focused on South Asia and South Asian, we did not realize we'll get that support from diaspora. And Bina and I definitely we almost cried when she said that this is the cause, and we have a tear full of eyes, like we could not say like, oh my God, is someone really saying that we are the cause for them? It was amazing. Giving
Yeah, and
back to you,
Pragya
Bina.
was there as well, who's behind the camera right now and does not want to come on screen.
But I think that's the spirit. That's the spirit and that's the commitment. Because, the idea was, it was a vision, but we didn't know how quickly it would snowball. And I think it is snowballing in terms of institutionalization of the platform and of the organization, because all that Sarita has actually forced us to look at is the institutionalization of it, and therefore making it much more foundational and strong. Is Kavita available now?
Kavita, are you back?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Would you like to please come, because you've been a strong advocate of human rights and peace, and so what do you think is the most significant contribution to the region, Sapan's contribution, and how do you see this collective efforts? How will they be reflected in South Asia? How will they take us forward to the peace that we're all looking for?
So friends, I'm very happy to, uh, have continued for 4 years. I was there when we had the first brainstorming, even before that, with Bina, and what was actually very interesting, I mean, that it has developed into a very, very important platform. And if you look at the kind of work we've done, so many 30 webinars, that's no joke actually. And also the kind of knowledge we have generated, or the kind of we may call it news, but it's reflective of a lot of reflective of the discourse that's happening around. And I do feel that many of us could contribute much more, and we are not. But actually, how to keep alive this discourse through our meetings and through the Sapan News platform, and uh, and also some physical meetings that we've had from time to time. Say, for instance, when we went to the World Social Forum in Nepal, we managed to get together some of us who were there, or some of you in Pakistan and the US do keep meeting as Sapan. So I think what we also need to work towards is actually an in-person platform, which doesn't mean that the advantage of online, which is like just a click away, we all are so close to each other on this globe today because of the virtual connectivity, which you need to keep doing, but we must also think of developing it as a platform. Say we meet once in 4 years, how many ever of us meet, or once in 3 years, whatever, but we must now also move towards that. That'll be very, very important because just the way this region has prevented us from meeting each other, whether it is India, Pakistan, and now India, Bangladesh. I mean, imagine somebody as eminent and as senior as Khushi Kabir, who's always been a friend of India. She finds it difficult to even get a visa to come to India. And so, what must be happening to a lot of ordinary people? Uh, and Similarly, we can go easily to Sri Lanka, but many of our friends in South Asia, when they come to, say, for instance, our country, they cannot roam around freely. They're under surveillance, and I'm sure it's the same in other countries also. So somewhere we have to decide on how to meet. Where would it be the best? And I really think that. Uh, I mean, by the end of the fifth anniversary, we could get down to meeting. Just 1 minute. I have. Uh, just give me a minute. I didn't realize. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So so I think the next move should be because a very earnest dialogue can develop, and especially with the experience of last February of the World Social Forum, where about 50 uh, participants from about 50 countries came. Just the quality of discussion of the South Asian, different discussions, the different themes, there was such high quality, and it was really, really good. So I do think that that is one of the future steps, if not in 2026, and at least in 2027. I mean, we should be moving towards trying to come together. There are a few other things that I would like to say while appreciating that it has given us all a platform, all those who want to think, who have a regional understanding of their existence in each of our countries. Like I'm South Asian in an Indian way, Rani is South Asian in a Pakistani way. We may be, I mean, culturally, we may have different sort of expressions and understandings. At the same time, this unity of ourselves, and especially I think this is a feminist collective space. It does have many, many more women participating, women leading it, women actually doing all the building up of this whole thing. So it's very precious because it is a feminist collective space. However, I do feel that in this year we must plan. I mean, we cannot be in a fourth anniversary meeting with just 12 of us. I do regret that I also never worked hard enough to mobilize some people for this meeting. I mean, it cannot be left to just one or two. Each one of us has to take responsibility because we own this platform. Nevertheless, I think we really need to get in more people, even online, and newer people. We did try, I think, the discussion on sports, the discussion on with youth, the whole student, which was then organized. I think we need to work harder in this year to add. I mean, each one of us at least brings in 5 new people, and at least 3 should be there regularly. So we need to work slightly in a targeted way. I mean, look at the right wing in India, where they're saying that in their centenary year, they're going to expand from 85,000 shakhas to 100,000 shakas, these morning activity camps that they do every day, and 10 million volunteers. I mean, look at the target that they're setting for themselves. And we also need to set some targets. And it's not merely like bringing in some heads or some talking heads into this group, but those who can actually help envision this even in a stronger way, help take these ideas to many more people. From the far reaches we should try to bring some people. And I do feel I'm very nostalgic about some of the webinars. Say, for instance, prisoners across our prisoners, across countries. That was really, really upsetting, because those who have stayed in prisons in any of the countries, they come back in such an impoverished way, and there's nothing back to help them. I could go on and on. However, it's a platform that gives me strength. It's a platform. I hope I have also contributed, that each one of us will have to collectively tell how each one of us has contributed into this. But I think this discourse needs to continue at all levels, online, through our email discussions, through the news service that with Beena and others. And now let's try meeting in person. Thank you. And a big hug to everyone in the 4th year of having existed.
Thank you, Kavita. That's really beautiful. And we are always grateful to you. Personally, I'm really grateful to you. Each time we get diverted, you keep us grounded with like, hey, people, this is a people's moment. We are not talking big thing about either UN or government. Let's talk about what people want. I think that is a value we always see in you, and we are really grateful for that. And see, like this is a change, right, Rani, that we are talking now from like how Vishal started, did his first logo, and now we are talking about like we need more people. How can we do in-person event? This is really, really amazing change. As we are talking to everyone, maybe Rani, you can discuss about your like give us some insight about your own journey in Sapan.
Sure. But I was just thinking that maybe we should get in Irfan now, if a male after so many women that who've
Sorry,
spoken. And I have it in it, but no.
sorry,
So
I was just
Irfan,
thrown out with the power having cut off. I was just thrown out. So I'm
oh,
back. I don't think I
that's
could
right.
conclude the last slide.
So Irfan, will you like to come in and then I can come in later?
Sounds good.
Thank you very
Irfan
much.
said.
Thank you so much in acknowledging that there is a feminist male in this group that it's really so thank you so much for acknowledging that. You see, Karapa and Sarita, that my dream of building a peaceful South Asia started in late 80s when we set up South Asia Partnership. Pakistan as a part of a South Asian fraternity. And the SAP was also working in India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh. And now we expanded ourselves to Afghanistan as well. And Khabar was also one of the pioneers of the SAPs in this region. And she also served as the chair of our board and also served in our regional committee. So through South Asia Partnership, we developed so many people's movement and we strengthened those and we connected them cross border. So there were a lot of successes as well that we, in the last 35 years, that we build people to people connections, we build people to people contacts, and as well as also ensure that the people are meeting with each other. So we use several platforms on which we organize people, especially the women community leaders, on issues of ending violence, on issues of ending political violence, and then started gradually building up the regional climate agenda and environmental agenda and cross-border human trafficking and all that. So in that process, we really connected ourselves with so many peace activists in India, Bangladesh, Nepal, and Sri Lanka. And as Bina said earlier, that we also formed several other platforms like Pak India People's Forum, South Asia for Human Rights, and others. And that's how we were building up a truly South Asian community, I will say. And there was, but there were some ups and downs. And then good times were when the governments in India and Pakistan were talking friendly to each other. So then we had good environment to take people from Pakistan to India, or from Pakistan to Bangladesh and others. And Indian friends would come to Pakistan, and we would take them to different parts of Pakistan. And that's how I still remember a march from Delhi, Basti Nizamuddin to Multan, Bahauddin Zakriya's shrine in Multan. And a lot of peace activists walked from Delhi all the way from Amritsar to Lahore and then to Multan. So a lot of such moments when we were connecting with people, and not only people at the upper level, but also at the grassroots, where they were walking on the roads, they were speaking to a lot of people. So that's how we kept on cultivating a true spirit of a South Asian people's agenda. But unfortunately, as Bina said, that while we were celebrating our achievement, we also were disappointed by the way these governments backtracked on their peace agendas, especially if you look at the SARC status, the way it has been fallen victim to the India-Pakistan situation. That's also ironic. So in a way, we then realized that why should we be just expecting too much from these government? Instead, we should invest more on people to people connectivity, and that is where I think that I see the biggest strength of Sapan. You see, while I joined Sapan, I really we came from a very long journey of this South Asian peace agenda, but Sapan gave me a totally different perspective of peace in South Asia. We were not just talking about disarmament, or we were not talking about issues of Kashmir or others, but we were talking about, as Kavita said, the prisoners across border. We were talking about sports in South Asia. We were talking about music. We were talking about, especially in COVID time, if I remember, Bina, that we talked about how COVID has affected people in these countries. So all of this really started emerging as a truly people voices. And that is where I see the biggest strength of Sapan, that Sapan is not just talking about larger government agenda or peace talks. We are talking about real, very basic issues of people, women, the people of disability and others, and youth, and sports person. So that is how I see that Sapan is actually becoming a non-partisan, people-centered platform. The way I see that it should keep evolving this side of people's voices. So I see a lot of things happening, like this climate situation, which is hitting our region so badly. And every year that we see floods or heat waves or droughts coming and hitting our farmers and our rural people, and there is hardly any voice that can connect at how we can, as a South Asia, we can deal with these crises, the river floods or others. So I think that is where I see that Sapan can really take a lot of ground on it, and I really see that the Sapan in future will be talking and connecting people on these issues, which are very urgent and which are very important in terms of people's lives and livelihoods. So I really endorse whatever my other friends have said so far, that I have developed so many new friends. And every time that I attend a webinar or a Sapan meeting, I hear a lot of good views, ideas, and a lot of good proposals that come from my friends. So thanks to Sapan for connecting me to a lot of visionary excellent people across South Asia and also the diaspora in other countries. I really appreciate and admire their views, and I always enjoy listening to them. Thank you very much, Sarita and Karapa, for my time. Thank you so much.
Shall we? Shall
Sorry,
I?
could I just say something very quickly, just adding something to what Irfan said, Rani, which is that Irfan mentioned, you know, in COVID times. So if you remember, Karamat was on that meeting. Karamat Ali was in that meeting, and he made such a impassioned view. He said that, you know, like, I want his wife was in Delhi, or, you know, and she had COVID, and his sister and her sister, and he said, I just want to go and be with my family. I want, you know, it was just such a plea that he made, that whole piece. So I just wanted to, and, you know, acknowledge Karamat's contributions. And sadly, we lost him last year, along with, you know, we lost Ramu last year, Admiral Ramdas, Karamat, Tapan Bose. And I just heard the sad news that Manzoor Ijaz, who has, you know, always been a supporter of peace and syncretic values, and has just passed away in Washington, D.C.
Oh my!
Yeah.
I said that's very sad. I mean,
Very
he
sad.
was a colleague at university, Punjab University, when I was working there. And
Yeah,
one
he
has
had been
known him.
very ill. I spoke to him when I was in Washington, D.C. last, but we couldn't meet. And I just heard from Jaspal Singh that who's here, who's part of our larger group, and who has also been very involved in peace efforts. Jaspal ji just mentioned that
And that's
Manzoor
very sad,
passed away.
very sad.
Veena, we also lost Dr. Zafrullah Chaudhry, who
Zafrullah,
had
but that was
joined.
some time ago. I just mentioned these
That
two in
was
the
in
last year.
2023.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
he died in April 2023, but I still
yeah.
remember he had
Of
also
course.
joined the
No, there's so
co-movement.
many, Kavita. There's so many. I just
Mm.
mentioned the ones over the last year. Yeah.
Mm.
Anyway, I'll get handing
You know
handing it back to Irfan and to.
I just wanted to, Sarita, that you were asking me. I mean, I see Sapan also as a continuity of the connections that we had made over the past years that Irfan has spoken about. Especially the women in the region had very strong bondages from 86 onwards, actually. And one was with this, complete closure of borders, one was seeing those connections, getting weaker and people moving on and not being able to pass on to younger people and engage others in it. So I think Sapan has provided us that platform because a lot of us are connected because of our past, work as well as connections. But now with this platform, we're getting new, different kind of people, and also, the realization that there are many things that are interconnected beyond our borders, like climate change, a pandemic. If it comes, it affects everybody. So those are the kind of things that that this sort of makes us address. So Sapar, in that sense, first of all, because of its multi-dimensional content and issues that it takes up, it can bring very different kind of people on the same platform and connect them, because that connectivity comes through everyone connects deeper on some issues, but at the other hand, you also listen to the others. So I think it's that diverse ways of thinking and diverse uh, strengths that it brings together. And I think that's what we need to nurture and bring more people, because there are many people who haven't had the experience that some of the older people have had of interconnection, and therefore it is reflected in the charter of Sapan, that to have soft borders, to be able to encourage people to people interaction and connectivity. Because people meet at a different level, at a human level, while governments meet at a different, their strategies and their objectives. So I think that to inculcate that, Sapan, I think is an important platform and an important movement. So that's my and we I do agree with Kavita as well as Namrata and others that we need to bring more people in, and we do share it. A lot of people follow, and as Bina just reminded us, there are so many hundreds who have actually endorsed the charter and actually follow the news, the Sapa news, or because everything is uploaded now, so they have the opportunity of looking at what's happening and connecting where their interests lie. This fluidity is also very important. It's not rigid, it's fluid, it's inclusive. So those are the strengths that one wants to contain and nurture. So with that, I think we should go on to, if you agree, to Fozia.
I agree. And also, just to add you and Irfan, I really feel like Sapan is a puzzle or a Lego where people are working at a different level and we are just bringing that Lego and puzzle together to make one complete movement. And I think let's go to Faugia. Also, like Faugia is also our board president. Just to go back a bit of a journey that we are talking about from our WhatsApp group to website, Sapan News. We did register organization formally last year, where Ekta, I, Bina, and Salazar really worked together to register the organization, and then we have a complete board, which is led by Faugia. Faugia, Sapan vision of a borderless and interconnected South Asia is truly powerful, and I know you believe on that as well. As a fellow Sapner, working group member, and also the board president, what do you think is our biggest obstacle in achieving our vision, and how we can, as a movement, overcome it together?
Thank you so much, Sarita, and thank you all for being here with us together today and having me in it too. Yeah, you're calling me president, but it's very recently that you all chose me to preside the board. That's all. But the group itself, I don't preside you all. It's just that when we sit in the board meeting, one has to be, a coordinating person, and I just volunteered for that. My my main the way I look at Sapan and the biggest bottleneck that I sometimes feel is it's growing too fast for our own pace, frankly. I get a little nervous catching on to where we are going. My God, Sarita, you guys are fast, and I'm a slow person. So I take time to, respond, understand, and then it's really getting fast. Now the thing is, where is it heading on to fastly? It's heading in the right direction. That's what gives me the confidence and the strength to be there. Otherwise, I would have left. I said, what's going on over here? But I know that we are in the right direction. What we are doing is actually giving results, and the results right now are not like our founding charter have been implemented kind of result, but everyone who's there is really feeling committed. It's the feeling that I notice usually, as Sarita notice brings it in the organizational and institutional thing. I am all the time looking at how it feels there. So the subjective part I take care of, the objective part Sarita takes care of, and Bina is like an overall thing. And there we are, and Rani, and also Kushi and Mandara, we all, when we get together, we all pick up one angle of the whole star, and then the star gets completed, I think. But what I feel about it is that although we do think we need to bring in people into Sapan, my feeling is we need to get our voice out. May people come in or not. It doesn't matter if people become members of Sapan or not. But as far as what we want to say in Sapan goes out to people, and the best part is whenever it has gone out, it has hit the right spot. Like whoever hears it says yes to it. It's not that people don't know about it, and we are bringing something to them. It's something that they're thinking already. Because who are the people? We ourselves are those people. We are the people. We're not an organization taking things to people or people coming in the organization. We are the people. So what we feel or what we think is what most of South Asian people think and feel. So because I'm not a special person, I'm not something big. I'm just an ordinary, common South Asian, a person born in South Asia, and this is how I feel. This is how everyone who is born in South Asia feels. That's what my biggest strength is, that I know I'm talking about the hearts of everyone in South Asia, whether it be on right, whether it be on left. Another thing that I felt is this is not a so-called inverted commas feminist group that has any grudge with the rightist group. Oh, wow. Our main aim is against grudge. Our main aim of getting together is the antiism. So we are not anti anybody. That's why many people who are on the far left also have another animosity against that. Oh gosh, this is where our whole problem begins. When we get an animosity against any other South Asian, they may think that way, but ask them just 3-point agenda. The 3 points. Do you want your own people to be treated humanely, with respect, or not? Everyone says yes. Do you want our borders to be tight, can't move, or not? No. Everybody says, no, we want to be moving easily. Even the highest level far righters, especially the bombers, would love it if the borders are. So don't worry. Softening the borders don't cause bombings. It's the tightening that causes the bombings, frankly. Softening, where I'm sitting right now, I'm sitting in Paris, borders are all open, there's no bombs. People don't want to bomb when they're tightened, when they're open, when they're loosened up. Let's try it. Let's see. Nothing will happen. Don't worry. Don't be afraid of mixing up. Mixing up only brings happiness, peace, and understanding. It does not bring. I mean, I didn't come into Paris with a bomb in my pocket just because the border was a little open. No, it's that thought that the others are bad. That's what brings in. So others are not bad people. They may be having a beard. They're also the same South Asians. I mean, like when there are many people praying here today. Today is Eid. What's the problem in it? Let them pray. Let them say, Assalamu alaikum or Allah Hafiz or Khuda Hafiz or not Hafiz. Nothing. It's all the same. So the thing is, out of the third one may raise a bit denuclearization, demilitarization. Again, if we don't use these jargons, if we say, do you want the military on your head all the time? Right, left, whoever doesn't want it. Do you want a Fauji to be standing next to you, telling you what to do? Anybody. So let's make it the way a common man understands. Do you want a nuclear bomb to follow you? No, of course not. So the simple thing is talked in the simple language. Everyone across the board, everyone around South Asian, any country, any side of the platform, everyone. I have my faith that not a single person will say no to the 3-point agenda we have on our founding charters. We are all on it collectively. Now the thing is, how do we do it organizationally? Do we have to bring it do we have to get it done? No, we have to just spread the word around so that everybody realizes these 3 things are important in my life, just for my life to be in peace, and to me, for my children to grow up normally. That's all. You need to just think of your children. Do it to yourself. Don't do it on us. So we have to talk to the governments also about this. One day, that day will be difficult when we will have to talk. Not me and you and Mandra and Hoshi and Kawar, but we meaning when the word is all around to different kinds of people, everyone will then talk to their own person in the government. What is wrong with it? What is wrong? Why should we be fearing a nuclear bomb on us? Why should we be having a Fauji on us? So all these are just layman terms, things that we have put in jargons or in a 3-point agenda. This 3-point agenda is the voice of the hearts of all people in South Asia. And that's the only strength that I keep working with Sapan. I know it will succeed because it's based on truth. That's all. I will be here, whether I like it or not, whether someone likes me or not, whether people, that is not the thing. The main thing is that it will happen. It is the truth. So I'm with the truth. Thank you for having me. And happy anniversary. 4 years have passed. Many more years will pass, I know. And we will get better and better, even organizationally, even financially. Hopefully.
You crack me.
One you all. Happy Eid Mubarak, Rose Mubarak, what else Mubarak? Nice weather Mubarak. It's today's Basant here. Bye.
Rani, over to you to take over the platform here.
Yes, I was just thinking that we should ask Mr. Vasant Pai, who's been with us. We acknowledge his participation and his contribution. If he would like to share his views. Yes, Mr. Vasant?
Thank you. Well, I only came here to listen to people rather than talk, and I came to know quite a lot listening to all of you. And also I've seen, I've only been seeing the names in the WhatsApp group. Now I have seen the faces. I have seen Sarita, I have seen Kavita, Namrata, Irfan, and Fauzia, and all of you. And it was a great pleasure listening to you, and each of you mentioning what the Sapan has done for you or you have done for Sapan. I have participated in one or two of the initial discussions, maybe about a couple of years back, because my specialization is pharmaceuticals and health. And then we had discussed about the position about the cost of medicines, availability of health facilities, etc. And the second subject I discussed was about road accidents, because road accidents in the subcontinent are the highest in the world. And this mainly due to the bad maintenance of roads, reckless driving and all that. That's another thing which needs to be addressed. Apart from that, what I can say is that I came to Sapan from Aman Ke Asha. I have been with Aman Ke Asha for about 15 years and continue to be there. And it was Bina who mentored me, and I've been a moderator there. And so far as Sapan is concerned, I personally feel that unless the SARC is revived, person to person connection in talking and goodwill and all that is fine. But ultimately it comes to, formalizing it between two countries. And that is also required. It is required because of the issue of visas, because of communication, solving common problems, etc. So I wish Sapan all the best on its 4th anniversary, and I'm sure you will continue to do the good work which you have been doing. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Sarita, should we ask Zakia to read Jolly's poem? Her message? Zakia?
Sorry, before you do that, can I just ask, well, okay, maybe we can do that. And then I want to have I want Sarita to share a little bit about herself that she asked you to share about yourself. I want her to say something about her journey as well. So we can do that now or after that. Let Lolly read that and then we can go to, read that and then we'll.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, it's a very inspiring and very thought-provoking message that she has given. And I think will give you directions for what to think about in the coming years. So it begins with, रास्ता है लंबा भाई, मंजिल है दूर, रास्ता है लंबा बहन, मंजिल है दूर, हिम्मत से चलेंगे, मिलके जरूर, हम हैं नए इंसान, हम चलेंगे सीना तान, कोई डर नहीं जब हम मिलके चलते हैं. It's a long road and the goal seems far, but we shall walk together and with courage. We are the new human beings. We shall walk together, shoulder to shoulder. There is no fear when we walk together. As I wrote the original Hindustani words, I realized that language in itself is a barrier to better communication across South Asia, not just South Asia, but also within India, and we need a sensitivity about that all around. What is peace? What are the forces that militate against peace? Why is war and violence celebrated on front pages, where peace breaking out is never used? Have we ever really seriously examined some of the key factors as a group within Sapan? Is this 4th anniversary a good occasion to do so? Having a dream is a vital starting point. And the acronym SAPAN was an inspired one. How do we transform a dream into reality? This requires strategic thinking and planning. The vision of Sapan has been well spelled out, and the initial excitement was overwhelming. But I sense a slowing down of momentum. We are riding on the extraordinary energy and commitment of a few, too few, and yet we have survived for 4 years. Let us make this coming year one of deeper introspection, making stronger efforts to widen our membership, recruit young people across region. In our vision, is our vision of a closer knit, borderless, visa-free South Asia a shared one? On reviving SARC, while there are few hopeful signs, these are few and far between. The Indian foreign minister, actually said this publicly, that SARC is still living, but as usual, blaming one country for its lying comatose in ICU. For all of our good intentions, we have not yet succeeded in engaging any of the leaders in our 4 countries, even on a one-to-one on this issue. Perhaps we can think about this going forward. Eventually, as we all agreed, the problem lies between India, Pakistan, and improving relationships and re-establishing dialogue. Is there a possibility of organizing a roundtable conversation among the peace groups of whom we are signatories to highlight what some of them might feel on strategies that could break through the current impasse? Can our members in each country also attempt an analysis of their country perspective as to where they see their future in South Asia perspective? Conclusion? In conclusion, go to the people, listen to them, learn from them, said Lao Tzu many centuries ago. His words ring truer than ever. The stories and films we love are the heartwarming tales of affection, reality, and shared experiences and commonality of all of us. We need more such stories, translations, resolution work. Maybe we need to form a few working groups who can take up a few of the above mentioned issues. So these are a few thoughts I thought I would share. And in closing, thank the team who have done such amazing work with minimal resources, except their passion and dreaming that impossible dream that we hope will be a reality someday. That's the end.
Thank you. Thank you, Lolly, for this very inspiring and very direction-giving note. Sarita, your turn to speak about your experience, because we've all spoken about the amount of work that you do and how you keep us in line also. So go ahead.
Thank you, Rani. I think South Asia has always been my passion. I don't know when I started, to be frank. I think it was my school days when we get to go to this school tour to Darjeeling. That was my first exposure to traveling to India from Nepal. Um, kind of like it was a Nepali language speaking community. People were still eating momos, so it was kind of feel similar, but at the same time there were difference. And I think since then I started like traveling around South Asia. Either it be during my undergraduate college, I had an opportunity to be a part of South Asian Economic Student Meet and went to Bangladesh and then to India and organize it and be a part of student organizing committee when we were organizing in Nepal. And then I had an opportunity to go to Colombo to be a part of South Asian Youth Conference. And that's when I had this opportunity where one of the participants were from NOST Model United in Islamabad, and they were like, "Hey, do you guys want to apply to NOST Model United in Islamabad?" I was like, of course, let's do it. And we applied. Couple of us got visa, a couple of us did not, since it was there was a very good recommendation from NUST, so that's why we got the visa. Took us almost a month to get the visa, multiple trip to Pakistan embassy to finalize it. And interesting part was I flew to Delhi and then took a bus to Punjab, and then we did border cross the border from Punjab to Lahore and took a night bus from Lahore to Islamabad, which was a very complete experience. My father did not sleep for multiple days for sure, but I think he understands it now with all the news and everything that we get. The narrative that has been built through the news and everything, right? And when we were there, I was like, oh, it looks pretty nicer, safer, cleaner. Islamabad is like more organized than any other city. But that's when I'm bringing back to that journey because during that Model United, I had added a friend in a fellow participant, now a very good friend in my Facebook, because like that's what you do when you're like, okay, let's add you. We were on the same panel, same group, same discussion, and after 3 years or 4 years, he contacted me. I was still working on my own youth activism, voter rights forum, civic education, and peace movement in Nepal. That's recently I had moved to US, and he texted me saying that, "Hey, your work looks quite interesting. I think we are building up this platform. You would be interested to be part of it." Wakas, who is also one of the founding member, he pulled me into this forum. I was like, okay, let me see this, but I just found it very interesting. It was exactly the same thing that I have been doing when I was traveling around South Asia, understanding people, understanding culture, understanding the differences, at the same time advocating for the same thing I have been advocating when I was a part of South Asian Economic Student Meet, where even the SARC is failing, there should be some integration, there should be some collaboration. And if we don't collaborate, then our country not going to be fulfilled. Like as individual we're not going to get fulfilled. We need to have the share the resource among the reason, and we're so connected to each other by the land. It is so easy for us to connect the resources, either it's be education, either it's be health, either it's be economy, either it's be individual people are that was one of the main reason why I find it very interesting for me to be part of this movement. I was like really heartbroken when Nepal could not do business with Bangladesh, just been couple kilometer away from Bangladesh. When we could not fly to Pakistan, I have to go all the way to Doha to fly to Pakistan. Um, we could not even we get the visa free, we don't have any visa or any restriction to go to India, but we cannot fly to Colombo being a landlocked country. There were so many disadvantages. We do talk a lot about India Pakistan when it comes to SARC, but we don't understand that how the one landlocked country can be really impacted when your three side is only connected with one country, and how that country politics will definitely directly impact you and the youth in that region when it comes to resource sharing, when it comes to culture sharing. So that was one of the reason when I joined here, and I think I have been a very quite I voice this a lot as well. As like, okay, no, like maybe India and Pakistan, even Bangladesh cannot talk about Nepal. It's quite different. That's how I joined here. I'll say it has been an interesting journey for me to be a part of this moment and to know all of you, all the task or the thing that we all have been doing here. Yeah, that I think that is it, Rani. And there's so many things to say, but I think I'm also getting kind of emotional with our fourth anniversary, working since day one to see like all this conversation. I'm passing it to Rani on that note.
Thank you, Sarita. Yes, I mean, it is an emotional involvement also with Sapan, and rightly so, because we connect, as many people have spoken, that there's a connection that Sapan brings for each one of us to the central idea of peace within the region and the need to connect. Um, as we come to the end, is there anybody left that we've not mentioned?
Um, I think we did cover majority of the people, but I do see that one more voices I wanted to pull back if I can, because Vidya did not join the call. I really wanted her to talk more about like volunteerism, how we can involve more people into the like young people in the suppers so that we can have more voices. Definitely we are intergenerational organization, but we do miss a bit of gap between involving more young people and how we can involve more people in this movement. um I think I was thinking, Vishal, I think you have been a tremendous volunteer, even either it's be on the forefront or either it's be on the back end, wherever we need it, wherever we don't have help. I have always been like, Vishal, can you please come and do this event? And you're always there beside your busy schedule. So, if you can give us a bit of insight about the volunteerism and how, what is the bottleneck that we are not able to include as many young volunteers as we can, and how can we include more volunteers in moving future? As Rani highlighted earlier, that there are people who are veteran and has a tons of experience, and this need to be passed to the young people, and we know this is not, we're not going to achieve it in a year or two or three. It's going to be a generational advocacy that we are taking forward. Over to you, Vishal.
Thank you, Sarita. I think it's more for the experienced lot to decide on, how they want to see or what kind of people they want in the peace movement. But according to my perspective, I think what is more important than any other thing is their commitment to peace. I think that is the foremost point, and their commitment to peace across the divide, across national foreign policies, across their cultural identity, across their, ideological bent of mind. I think that is what is most important. Because, when I joined Sapan, I read a lot about the founding people, like, the founders of this very movement, as Rani ji mentioned, from the PIPFPD days, reading a lot about Asma Jangi, reading a lot about Nirmala Didi, reading about Dr. Mubashir Hassan, reading about Ramu Ramdas ji. And, I realized that those were people who worked in different spaces, right? They worked on human rights. They were part of the government also, people, person like Ramuji, he was the head of the Indian Navy, the chief of the Indian Navy. And then, the people like them wanted to have a denuclearized South Asia. And I think their commitment was towards peace. But we have to realize that, when we are involving younger people, which I'm also realizing in my other work, like my work on research in a very different way, that, we cannot have people who on one side talk about peace, but on the other side, they're talking about the geopolitical risk, or they're talking about security, or they're involved in a different domain altogether. And just to serve their purpose, they intrude in a space and they're not fully committed to that very idea. And I think this is what is important, because, you talk about Kashmir, you talk about peaceful Kashmir, but then on one hand, you are being with people who genuinely want peace in Kashmir. But on the other hand, you're participating in meetings which focus on either the India perspective on Kashmir or the Pakistan perspective on Kashmir. And similarly, it goes for South Asia, because on one hand, you talk about South Asia peace and development, and on the other hand, you are in meetings where, you support a very hyper nationalist perspective. And I think this is what needs to be called out. And the one point from youngster, I'm no longer that young, but is that, we are living in the age of AI. It's not the age where, you can't have all the information. So at this age, you just type somebody's name and you figure out, oh, he's in this forum, he's in that forum. So I think we need to be very clear on, what kind of people are included, and people who genuinely believe in peace beyond national policies, beyond religious identities, beyond ideological perspectives. I think who genuinely want peace, and I think that is what people who have years of experience need to do. That they need to figure out, and they need to mentor younger people, especially the interns which we are getting in Sapan. That they need to look at how they need to look at their worldview, and they need to tell them that this is what we are, and we need to be very clear about it. That peace is our goal, and peace is our goal beyond any identity based issue. So yeah, that's it from my side.
Thank you. I think that's very, very clear. And I think most important thing that you've said is that we need people who believe in the idea of peace and the vision of peace. We do not want people who are double-minded or have different diverse perspectives. So it's important to have people who are really committed to, rather than just expand for the sake of expansion. So I think that discernment is very important. Thank you for that insight, really. Before we move on to, to to look through what we've reflected upon and see how we're going forward, um, can we have our friend, we wanted, from
Pragya?
Pragya, yes, if she's been doing so much work on Sapan News. So can we have your views and your reflection on Sapan, since you've come and you've done some very excellent work here.
Thanks a
Pragya,
lot.
yes.
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you so much, Havaji. So I have been listening to all the wonderful in this people in this panel, and yeah, so the story I've written like few days ago for Sapan News, the women behind Sapan News and the people behind Sapan News, and how when I first time I volunteered for Sapan, that was country focus Bangladesh post crisis webinar, and how everything was so structured, and how the panelists they shared their thoughts. So that has since then that has been a wonderful journey for me. I have been learning. I've been I have got this opportunity to personally communicate with people who I heard someone like I think Vasanji mentioned that we have only read the names of the people I have communicated personally. So that is the opportunity I got from this volunteership. So I know that there are people of my age, there are people, young people who really want to contribute, and I call all of you who are watching. Please, if you want to volunteer with Sapan, so Sapan, as you would have learned from from this panel discussion, that is, you will get the opportunity to write social media management. You will get to participate in organizing such events, and there's so many much more creative things you could do but if you want to volunteer at Sapan. So feel free to email us at South Asia Peace Action Network at gmail.com, or editorial at sapannews.com, or bina.server at gmail.com. There are many other emails and contact information on both of the sites, both of the websites of Sapan News and Sapan. So yeah, I think that's it. Thank you.
That's beautiful, Pragya. I think I'd just like to add, Pragya, a bit more Rani, she has been working a lot, and then she's also like, if we need any backup, Pragya is always there. She edited the video last night. She was updating the video till the morning because we delayed on sending the video to her. But she does not is like, oh, I'm bored. Okay, this is late. She does not say anything. She just do it. I really enjoyed that passion and working with Pragya. She writes, she does social media, she updates website, she manages volunteers, and then also she do video editing and many more. Over to you, Rani.
Thank you. Thank you. I think we come to the end of this discussion and reflection. It's been wonderful to hear everybody's perspective, but also how they see uh, the uniqueness of this platform, but also how we want to go forward. It's not an easy route, and as Rolly has very pointedly told, raised the issue of the tremendous task that we have in front of us, and the need for strategy, and and the challenges. So we've heard all this, and I think we are all still this inspires us, and also makes us more dedicated towards the elusive peace. And I think what is very important is that because of the lack of human connection, person to person connectedness, the kind of information and news and fake news also about each other just poisons that need for peace, and it's only when people meet each other they realize that we are actually not so bad, we are actually nice people across the borders. So we need to continue this search for finding ways of creating this environment for peace. And today we've had reflections. We've talked about our challenges. We've talked about what we have managed to achieve. And as Fauziya said, maybe we're expanding so fast that we are not being able to keep pace with it. The desire for younger people, more people who are dedicated, because this is a voluntary platform, but it's only the commitment that brings people together, and that's the commitment that and the passion that we need to ensure and inculcate. So so while we are reminded of our journey, we still have a long way to go. And I think if we could continue with this pace and continue to create avenues where people can discuss and question and explore what needs to be done, I think we will continue in that way. Um, we really want to transport, we want to be more powerful and be transformative and and carry this momentum forward. So with that, from my part, I think we are marching on, and we will continue to do that. There's a commitment, there's a vision, there's a passion, and that has to be sustained and increased. And if you have any last words, anyone else, especially Sarita, if you want to say something more, uh, I would like to again thank everybody, and and I would like to thank Bina for her initiative and her persistence, with which she draws us all, which she has drawn us all in, and the conviction of everybody else, and that we are sustaining this platform and hope, and it will accelerate in its numbers as well as its voice. So, thank you. Before we say goodbye, your last word is yours, Sarita. You're muted. You.
Thank you, Rani. I absolutely agree with what you said. This is a long journey. This is not going to be a shorter one, and this is not going to be a smooth journey either. I think we are still just setting up the foundation. It's going to be a long roller coaster. We're gonna face tons of. I think we just have to be an army, but it's not a single person movement. I don't think we like couple of us will be able to achieve what we want to achieve. It's a mass movement, and we always need to look forward to how to bring more people towards the voice of peace rather than the war or conflict or yeah, I think let's keep doing what we have been doing. Let's keep inspiring people, bring more people to this road. I think just to end, I do want to acknowledge all the volunteers that has given a minute or hours and hours this last 4 years since the day one or before day one. There has been tons of work that has been put together before day one. Thank you so much. You guys have been awesome. I don't think we would be standing here and doing this call, even if it's only 12 people today, if we would not have, you would not have contributed your time. Some of us might have contributed tons and tons of hours, but every time, every minute you contribute has been awesome. To all our supporters, to all the people who has signed our charter and shown the support, to everyone who constantly messages on that WhatsApp chat, the one who look over the WhatsApp chat and just give the emojis, everyone that has been inspirational, each and every effort that has make us think, make us bring ideas on the table, keep encouraging us to do what we have been doing, work till 12 a.m., 3 a.m., or 4 a.m. in the night, and still get up and then be on this call. It's like, and this is an awesome journey. This is, as Rani said, this is not, this is the dedication and passion. So, with remembering everyone who has been part of this journey, all our donors, all our supporters, all the organization that has been with us, thank you, everyone. Let's get ready for the new chapter and our year five. I think, Pragya, we can stop the live and the recording, but we can stay here for a couple more minutes after live and recording. Thank you.